Hi, this is Becky with Seasoned Sweet Sports, and in this tutorial, I will show you how to get started editing a poster template in Canva. We'll look at 3 different layouts and sizes, and I'll show you how the layers panel works, and then we'll customize one of the templates together so that you can see exactly how to make them your own. Here are all of the templates. As you'll see, when you open it up, it'll bring you to this first page, which gives you all of the instructions. So you probably do want to read through this first. If you want to read any more on my blog, you can go there, and then you can also, so there's 3 sizes of templates in this pack. But if you want another size, I have a video that shows you how to resize it if you don't have Canva Pro. If you do have Canva Pro, you can do, just the resize here. But if you don't, I have kind of a little bit of a hack, but a way to resize your templates if you don't have it. So that video shows you how to do that. So I have these laid out in the 3 different sizes. So first we have the 24 by 36, and then we have the 18 by 24, and then we have the 24 by 48. So just make sure you're using the right size, because when you go to print it, it will crop funny if you're, trying to print a 24 by 48 and you did the template on an 18 by 24. So definitely make sure you're using the right size. And if you need a different size, you can just watch my video that shows how to resize it. So one of the first things that I always tell people anytime you're using Canva, and again, particularly with any sports templates or my templates, anything that you use of mine, you're going to want to get used to working in the layers panel. And I have a whole video that shows you how to work in the layers panel, but I'll just show it as I start editing one of these templates. So I have 3 different designs. So there's the first design with the soccer ball background, and there's the second template with the gradient or the halftone background. They'll have this little metallic gradient that you can use for your different colors. And then the third one has the kind of like some halftones, but it also has the picture in the background. So you can add that there. And I'll show you how to do that. So let's get started. I'm going to edit this template, and I'll just point out a couple of things. And this is why you definitely want to be in layers. As I'm touching around, you'll see there's lots of different things going on. So when I go into the layers, so you'll go to position, and then up at the top, this is already in layers, but you can either be in arrange, which is super helpful as well to get everything aligned, and then layers. So that's where we're going to be right now. So the first thing that I want to do is add my players. So I have players uploaded, but if you do not have Canva Pro, you will want to remove the background before you upload it into Canva. I recommend using the Adobe background remover. It's free, it's super easy to use, and I'll just show you how to do it. It's really quick. So definitely not a showstopper if you don't have Canva Pro. So let's upload the soccer player. Now it's removed and I just download it. Okay, and now I've got it that I can grab it. So that is how easy that is. All right, so let's go back to Canva, and I already have my images uploaded. So I'm going to upload one of the images that I want to add, and so we'll do the same. Actually, I'm going to do this male soccer player, and all you're going to do, and this is where it gets very easy. I'm just going to make sure I've got my player selected. So the red player selected. I'm going to select copy style, and I have Pro, so it'll remove the background, but if you don't have Pro, you would have uploaded it with the background removed. But either way, you can click on copy style, and then you click your photo, and it removes the background if you've got Pro. If not, it adds some of the same style. So you can see like some of the image adjustments that I already did are applied to your photo. So if you go into edit and adjust, you'll see like there's some image adjustments. And if you're sometimes, depending on the image, every image is different. So you may want to like make it a little brighter, and you can certainly come in here and adjust it. It might be too, sometimes people don't like when you've got a lot of texture on the skin. This guy doesn't, but sometimes you get like a lot of texture, which I kind of like. You kind of can see it here. He's got a decent amount of texture on his arm. You may want to tone that down a little bit, either through contrast or like tone down the sharpness, which I tend to pump up quite a bit, or the clarity. So But again, I like that. I think it makes it look like kind of a cool sporty photo. So if you copy my style, you'll see that it's kind of, actually this one isn't even pumped up as much as some of the other ones I do. But you can absolutely come in here and adjust the settings for the image. But I like this, so we're going to stick with this one. And then we're going to go to position, and I want to put him, which you can't see, is you can see there's kind of like a gradient that that is at the very bottom here, so that you don't see where his legs get cut off. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this guy behind the gradient. I'm going to pop him over because I don't want him to be too far to the left, or you won't be able to read his last name. And we're going to grab him here in the layers panel, and I'm going to drag him down to where my player is. So he's right here. So I'm going to put him just right below my player. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my player. And so what you can see is that this new player, your photo, has that same gradient applied because he's below like these blurs that I've set up. So if he wasn't, I'm just going to delete these and you'll kind of see the difference. You'll see like there's a weird cutoff. You can see the line where the image ends, and it doesn't look nice. So that's why I add those blurs, those gradients at the very bottom, so he like kind of fades out nicely in the image. You'll also see, oh, this one doesn't have it, but I'll show you on another one. Well, yes, it does. So this one, I put a little like vignette type gradient on the sides, so that got a little like framing of him. So that's when you see these, that's what those are. Those are the gradients that kind of make everything look not so sharp and, fades out nicely or fades in nicely. So the next thing that you're going to do is I'm going to crop him a tiny bit, or not crop him, but adjust it, is we're going to change the color of the text, and as much as we can. And in this pack, one of the cool things that is in this is there's these cool metallic gradients. So when you change your color, I think I've set up pretty much every color I could think of. So you should be able to find a gradient to match your player. If not, if you text me or message me, I can create a gradient for you. But there's lots of them in there, so you should be able to find one to match your team. So this one I'm going to add a gold gradient. So right now the last player was red. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the text color, and you can see colors in this design. So this is all of the colors. And on the very last page of this template, I've got the gradient. So you don't want to get rid of this, but these are all the gradients. So Canva picks up all of these colors and adds them to that color picker. So that's where it gets it from. So I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to click on the text, and I'm going to go to my text color, and I'm going to choose this this gold, and it's right here. So there's a couple different golds. I kind of like these kind of tannish golds. This one's a little more yellow, but I kind of like this gold. And I'm going to click the one, see how this gradient kind of is like lines. So I'm going to choose this one, and it's up to you. You might like this one better, but this is the one that I like for this. I don't know, I just think it looks a little nicer. And then what you can do, and this is one of the nice things in Canva, is you can select change all. So it should change, might not change this because I think this is actually a different gradient. I think it's like a diagonal. So it'll change anything else that has the same gradient. So yeah, it didn't change that, but it's easy enough. While we're in here, I can change this gradient to this one. So that's that diagonal, which I think looks nicer in the lines because it shows up better. So we're going to change that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say change on all pages. So then you see it changed these as well. And then if you click through the pages, you've got that gradient on the text and this gradient. So it changed everything. I think this looks pretty darn close. So let's give him a different name, Jake. And one thing that we will want to change, you can see, and if you kind of get a little closer, you can really see it. There's a red effect. So you just click on the effect color, and it's like a drop shadow. And we're going to pick, I'm going to pick this grayish orange, just kind of a nice color that's picked out of the photo. So it'll work well with the rest of the image. And then I think there's one here too. So you want to just update anywhere you see like the text effects. And if you click on it, it'll show you like, it's black here, so we're good. Unless you want to change it. If you want to add like a different color, if you want to add that same color, you can do that. Okay, so Jake, what's his last name? Jake Johnson. Now, one thing you'll see is that name's a little shorter. So probably what I would do here is, and it's up to you because you may want to just say, I want all of my text to be the same um, font size, which is fine. I feel like on the graphics, it's just as important to have it like span the photo and so to all look the same from that perspective. So I feel like that's a little big, but I might like space out the letters. So you kind of want to feel around and see what A looks best in your image, which is to me the most important thing. But then also if you've got like 5 posters lined up, you want them to kind of look somewhat similar. So as you're doing these, you want to kind of balance the two, I guess. There's, the continuity from poster to poster, and but then there's also like filling the space in each poster because every name's different. You might have, a really really long name where you'll have to make it smaller too. So I kind of like the idea that they fill up the same space from one poster to the next poster, and then the text size might be different. So hopefully that makes sense. But and I'm gonna space it out just a little. Okay, that looks good. I am going to make him a tiny bit smaller because I love when there's overlap here from the player to overlapping like some of the text, but that was a little too much. So, and I think he is not behind oh, yes, he is. One thing so he's I'm going to just do that because then you don't get any weird cutoff. And then I'm going to bring him down at the top just a tiny bit. There, I think that looks good. Class of 2027, and you could even do this if you got to get to like this word without having to go into the layers panel. We're gonna midfielder. Okay. So I think that looks good. The last thing on these is, you want to update Charlotte Knights. Okay. And then that kind of carried over. So we're going to just decrease the font size a little. I like it to kind of go centered and like just a little bit smaller than the line up top. And then I just want to make sure that this is centered. So you'll go to position. There's a couple ways you can get here, but go to position, arrange, and then center it. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this line because that's already centered. Everything else doesn't need to be centered, so that works. There's one more thing you need to do in these, and you kind of play around with this, but you can see behind Jake, there is, I think on this one, there is a light. Yeah, a blur. You can see it here. It's like if I increase the transparency, you can really see it. So I have the transparency decreased, but I have it as white. I'm going to see if we could make it like that goldish color just to add a little more interest. Okay, yeah, I kind of like that. It's up to you. You could do, the gold. Let's see what, or the white. Actually, the white pops a little more. It's up to you. You can do whichever one you like. One thing I will say, I feel like his name kind of fades a little. I might actually move it down. I feel like the ball kind of made his name fade out a little bit. So we're going to do that. And I think that looks a little better. That's one thing you want to make sure stuff doesn't you're going to be in a poster. So you want to make sure you can read everything from afar. So I just wanted to adjust that. And then the last thing is I have these little starlights. You want to make sure they're kind of like at the end of like the 2027 or the name, and you can kind of put them in random spots too. And I like to turn them so they're not all going the same way. There's one on nights that looks good. There's one, maybe I'll put it here at the corner of his thing. There's one at 2027, and that looks good. I feel like that looks really good. I'm happy with this. You can, do that so you can see it at some different angles. I think that looks really good. The only thing I might possibly do is, yes, I thought that looked a little flat, so I added a black drop shadow. And I think that pops a little bit more. And now that I'm looking at it, I might decrease the letter spacing, and that's in here under the T with the arrows a little bit more. You don't want stuff to look like it's just kind of floating out there, and then increase it just a tiny to get it back there where that little starlight is. I think that looks good. I'm happy with that. So that is how we edit our posters. The only other thing I wanted to show you with these is, and this is something a couple of people have asked me about, is how do you do this background image? So I have, give me a second. I have an image that I'm going to use. So I'm going to add this girl. And so we're going to go back into the layers panel, and I'm going to drag her down until I see that background image. And it's at the bottom because it's in like the back of the layers. I think it's right here. I think this is him. And so how you'll know is if you click on it. Yeah, that's him because I can move him. So I'm going to put my girl right below him, and then I'm going to click on him, and I'm going to click the copy style paintbrush, and then I'm going to click over onto my girl. And then you can see she's kind of got the same style, and I'm going to size her so she's kind of the same size as the guy. And I'm actually going to do something too. And then I'm going to delete the guy. I am going to change her from having that really kind of a little harsh of a glow to, I'm just going to, it's very intense. Yeah, I guess I pumped that way up. Making it a little less intense. Okay, so I kind of like that better. And then you can also change, go back into position. See, you're in the layers panel of these all the time. So definitely if you're not used to it, go watch that video. And then, yeah, I like that, like the gold, and you've got the half tone. So you're really under a lot of different layers on this one. And you've got the number that you can, one thing I was going to show you, okay, this one's pretty easy to access, but if you ever get text that's like behind in a layer and it gets a little hard to access, you can always bring stuff up to the top and then bring it back down to the bottom, because sometimes even for me I can't like quite edit something. So if you want to do that, make it number 12, go back into the layers panel and bring it back down. And I like to have it tucked a little bit under the player. So right here, we would have it right under the player, and you can see it's kind of like, and it would be different when we bring the girl here, but slightly tucked under. I like things to touch. So this is slightly tucked under him. I might move him over a little bit, and you can nudge it with your arrow. But that's the last thing I wanted to show you. And that's it. Once you understand the layers panel and how the template is put together, customizing this is really quick, as you can see. And remember, you can move, you can resize, you can hide, or you can change any of the elements to work with your team and your photos. And if you need more help, be sure to check out the additional tutorials for layers and resizing your templates. And the last thing I want to say is use good photos. Don't use screenshots. Try to get photos that were taken by your photographer if you have them. If not, in good lighting. One of the things with these posters that works the best is if you have something that's not like a full body pose, but it's cropped like right below the hip so that you don't have to stretch them too much. So that's it. Good luck. I hope you have a great season, and thanks for your support.